Okay. Can y'all see in here? Mic check. All right. Looks like we're good to go. I switched the settings on this, so we should be able to be good here on the landscape mode. But somebody give me a like or something here just so I can know that y'all are here. I see people in here. Yes, sir. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Port Max. All right, cool. I changed the settings, so it looks like it took a little while for the settings to take effect. So I had to exit the app, come back in. So I think we're good now. We got the landscape mode on, so y'all should be able to see better. Hey, Santo, good morning. Y'all should be able to see better now this time around. All right, Felicia. So we get some phantoms in here. Come on, two. B Dizzle. All right, so much easier on Livestorm just to share screen. But at some point, I'm going to have to do this sharing screen on YouTube, which is the better way to do it. All right, cool. So TradePhantoms.com here, and your guide, your host, Mr. Blue, as they call me. And here's going to be a sneak peek of, we already have some Phantoms in here, but anybody who is not a Phantom member, this is going to be a sneak peek of what it's like inside of one of the live trade rooms with yours truly, Mr. Blue, okay, TradePhantoms.com. And this is going to be mainly, I would say, stocks, options, and a bit of futures. I'll go through a bit of a routine of morning prep, and I think we're good to go. So let's kick this off. Yesterday was a holiday, so we're getting back at it, of course. Just really quickly, if you are like really new or just watching this stream, we have what's called a top-down multiple time frame approach. Okay, so we're always going to be starting from the top time frames or high time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. This is a kind of short checklist that you can help for your trade plan. Okay. And this is something that members at Phantoms are able to get, download, and utilize at their own arsenal. Okay, liquidity map, some candlesticks, things like that, which we discuss a lot more in detail. Let's get to the charts. What I'm going to be doing here right now is I'm going to go over to one of my live accounts here. This is going to be Think or Swim. Okay, Think or Swim. I'm going to cover a couple of things regarding futures first. And so therefore, I'm going to start this off going over the major four indexes, as mentioned, starting with the S&P futures up here on the left. I got the S&P futures on the left, upper left, NASDAQ upper right. I got Dow Jones lower left, and I have the Russell 2000 on the bottom right. And if I just kind of blow one of these up here, I'm on a daily time frame, Think or Swim daily time frame of the S&P futures. For some of you futures traders, make sure that you are rolling over your contract. This Friday is the contract expiration month. Okay, we talk a lot more in detail regarding that in class, etc. We actually just mentioned this yesterday in one of our live trade rooms. Okay, so I have the S&P futures on a daily time frame here. I got the rising 20 here. I got the 200 period moving average here. Just as some filtration processes as you learn more about in class. Okay, long story short, here is a bull market, right? Bull market, markets overnight actually after the holiday just made all-time highs in futures for Nasdaq and the S&P. This is the S&P. And I could say the same thing for the most part for NASDAQ as well. All right, but there's a couple things that we are going to be analyzing, which I'll share with you in a moment in terms of what's called supply and demand, institutional level of supply and demand. Okay, so we've been at Phantoms. Good morning, good morning. At Phantoms, we've been stressing a lot about be careful shorting this market. Okay, so supply is getting absorbed and broken out, and while demand zones are being pulling back into qualified demand zones and are being respected and breaking out to all-time and new highs. Okay, same thing in the Nasdaq. Be careful shorting the Nasdaq. It's very strong right now. Nvidia just took a number one spot as market cap over Apple and Microsoft. So that is and that's major news, okay? And that's, that's bullish for semiconductors, okay? There's also something called sector rotation, which we talk a lot more about inside of more advanced classes and things like that. And as it's exiting Q2, Nvidia is essentially top dog in the equity markets, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in live trading room when I have more time tomorrow with the group. Long story short here, we have current price of NASDAQ futures is right here. If we look down and left, what we're gonna be looking for is qualified levels of demand. I already have a couple mapped out, and I'm gonna go to the darker background screen in a moment where you might be able to see the levels themselves a bit more cleaner, especially on this on the stream on the phone here. So one of the things that you might want to write down, though, I was looking at this level down in here. Basically, Nasdaq 19,000, 19,200 down to 19,000. That would be a deeper correction down in here where we have what's called a rally, a basing. Okay, and then we have a big rally out. Okay, so this was called an IBI. There's more on that. We want to. There's more there's more to this that you have to learn a bit more. That may take a bit more time. Okay, inside of the classes. Okay, but this is a level that I'm looking at for a steeper correction in the event that we get it. So Nasdaq futures about 9,000 at the lower end, and then 19,200, which is going to be represented right here with that little dash line right here. Okay, but that's probably not happening today. Okay, that's probably not happening today in terms of a bigger pullback for today. Anything could happen, but that's going to be extremely low probability that that's going to hit today. Okay, so therefore, okay, and I'm going to focus on the S&P and Nasdaq here this morning. We also have the Dow Jones and we have the Russell small caps. Okay, Dow Jones is industrials, but one of the things I'm going to do here really quickly is I'm going to switch over to the monthly, weekly, daily time frame here. So this is Thinkorswim. I have the monthly here on the left. I have the weekly here in the middle. I have the daily time frame here on the right. Let me switch over to the S&P futures. Okay, so we go through again just to remind y'all. Okay, if you're really new, people coming into the stream here, top-down approach, monthly, weekly, daily. So we always want to start with the high time frames first. Okay, that's why I have the monthly here, weekly here, daily here in the middle. I'm sorry, on the right. Okay, weekly in the middle. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scroll down to the smaller time frames. Okay, so I'm going to have the 60-minute time frame up here in the upper left. I have the 30-minute time frame here in the bottom left. I have the 5-minute time frame here in the middle, and I have the 2-minute time frame here on the right. Okay, so as you start to grow and become more of a professional, consistently profitable trader, one of the things that you're going to realize, okay, is that there needs to be a system, a process, and a strategy, right? So one of the things that we talk a lot about is that top-down approach, and we have 3 major time frames. Okay, 3 major time frames. One is going to be the higher time frame, HFT. The other one is going to be what's called the intermediate or the middle time frame, which is going to be the 60-minute and the 30-minute here, which is I'm going to be using here just for my personal workspace here. You can also use maybe the 4-hour or the 60-minute as a combination of that middle time frame. And then we have the 5-minute here, and then the 2-minute. Some traders use the 15, some traders use the 30 here, some traders use the 5, and etc. Okay, and then we have the 2-minute time frame here, which is going to be the smallest time frame, which is where you're going to be executing off of based on a setup. Okay, based on a setup. So one of the things I'm going to do here really quickly is because I only have an hour and 10 minutes with y'all here on this live stream, I'm going to open up this 60-minute or 1-hour time frame here. So this is the S&P futures. Okay, markets are closed right now. They're about to open up in about 23 minutes, give or take. This is the S&P futures. Now, one of the process and systems that you'll learn at Phantoms here is there's something called the Globex trap setup. Okay, it's a futures trade setup. Okay, and I'm just gonna go quickly and long story short here because I don't have time to teach it all in one little mini lesson here, session here. But we want to map out what's called the Globex or the overnight high. Okay, so this is going to be the overnight or Globex high represented by this blue line that I just drew right here. Okay, that comes in at 55.88 in terms of the pricing for futures. Okay, and I also have what's called the Globex low, which is going to be represented by this blue line right here, which happened essentially when the futures markets opened at 6 p.m. Eastern last night. Okay, and this gray space here is the overnight. So you can see the S&P futures left an overnight high, and right now we left an overnight low. Okay, now there's going to be a setup. Is what we want to look for is qualified or institutional level. Okay, or institutional level of demand. Which we have a scoring system to identify which levels are the proper institutional levels. Okay, there's a lot of price levels on the price chart, support, resistance, right? Demand, supply. There's a lot of things out there. So just be careful. At Phantoms, what we want to do is we're professional traders and train professionally. Is we want to make sure that there's going to be institutional order flow at that level. Okay, so there's a checklist regarding that. Okay, and real quick, if you did want to learn a little bit more about that, okay, you are in a good day, because this evening, if you go to TradePhantoms.com, if you hit that register bar there, that register button there, tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay, June 20th, which is today. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I digress. Okay, you'll be able to get a workshop, a class, which is going to take it a step further about how we analyze markets from supply to demand, how they really work, all asset classes, stocks, futures, forex, options. Okay, all the way down to short-term trading, income scalping. Okay, all the way to long-term trading and investing. Okay, Mr. Black, Mr. Green are going to be one of the two that's going to be hosting that this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that's where you can kick this off and learn a bit more about what this is like here at Phantoms. Okay, now getting back to the charts here. One of the levels that I'm looking for. This one is fairly decent right here. So if I look, current price is right here. If I look down and left, okay, there's going to be what's called impulse, a bit of a basing here. Then we have a bit of a rally right here. There is a decent demand level right in here, and I'll give you the price in a moment. Let me just mark that off on the chart here. There's going to be a decent one right here, but now this does not qualify for what's called the Globex trap. But there's a decent little demand zone right here. Let me just make sure that there's no, I checked this morning, but just to verify. Yesterday was a holiday, so no. Okay, we just had unemployment claims already came out. Okay, so that's basically all the news that's happening here in the U.S. So we're past that news. So there's no news catalyst here this morning, as it already passed. Okay, you can see after that news, the market's pulling down just a little bit here. Okay, so we have this demand zone right in here. Now this one's not bad. Okay, this one is fairly decent. It's not going to score extremely high on this, but if you want to map this price level out right here with this demand zone, we have a rally, a basing, and a rally. What's called an IBI. Again, more on that this evening if you wanted to check that out. All right, this price level comes in about 55.67, and I'm just going to round that up to 50. So 55.67 half S&P futures. This is going to be fairly decent for a bullish long trade. Okay, now I'm going to put an asterisk on this because this is going to be not the Globex trap, okay, not the Globex trap, but just a level of demand below price, which is fairly decent. It's still inside of what's called the overnight Globex session. Okay, so let me bring those numbers over here on the hard right edge so maybe y'all can see that a little bit better and clearer. Okay, so this one will be fairly decent. Okay, fairly decent, and you might be able to get some a bounce, at least a minimum a bounce out of there. Now, this is also for my Phantoms in here that are already Phantoms members. All right, this is also inside of the buy zone on the 60-minute time frame, the rising 20, rising 50. So this does qualify. Okay, now for a Globex trap. All right, for a Globex trap, we want to have a break below the Globex low, trapping short-term traders or breakout traders coming into a qualified level of demand. With this morning, there's really not high quality level of demand. Now on Tuesday, when I live streamed here on YouTube, I did mention this liquidity sweep below this daily low, which was going to be Monday's low. Okay, I'm sorry, Tuesday's low. Tuesday's low. I apologize. Tuesday's low. So this is Tuesday's low here. Okay, and this would be breaking the Globex low. There's a bit of a demand zone here, but it's not really great here. It's not great here. So I want to clean this up a bit here. And the thing that I mentioned on Tuesday on the live stream was I was looking for what's called the liquidity sweep right here. Okay, and I drew this level right in here, and I actually went over to the SPY and the QQQs for NASDAQ and make sure that we had a demand zone on the SPY. Okay, to help qualify this level as well. And that's a concept that I would need more time to explain. Okay, in short, the best traders are going to be trading all asset classes: stocks, futures, forex, options. Okay, as you grow as a trader in this industry, what you'll come to realize that all these markets are interconnected and intertwined. Okay, so long story short, is what I did was already for us and the team is I already qualified this level below this Tuesday's low on that liquidity sweep, and that price comes in at about, on futures, 55.35. Okay, so this is going to be what's called a Globex trap plus a liquidity sweep. Futures rolled over, so there's going to be a big gap fill over here as well. Okay, now if that one breaks, I still have this level right here, 55.00. Okay, so that's also going to be a level of what's called interest. Okay, where we're pulling back into a massive level of demand in the context of a major macro bull market. Okay, I'm not even going to waste our time with looking at levels to short, because we're at all-time highs, and that's a sucker's play. All right, and we're not here to take not great trades. We're here to take high quality levels with proper strategy and edge. Okay, so I'm not going to waste our time there. All right, so you might want to pin these levels, 55, 67 half. That's a decent one. Some of my phantoms might be looking at some demand in here, but just be careful with that. It's kind of ugly, okay, and not fresh, not prime, etc. And if we do have a bit of a steeper pullback, okay, which I'll talk a little bit about if I get to the SPYs as well, we might be able to get some liquidity sweeping down in here, okay? I have to move on here. I'm going to go to NASDAQ really quickly as well. Let me see, NASDAQ. Again, just as always, monthly here, weekly here, daily here, monthly, weekly, daily. But I'm going to drop down on the 60-minute time frame. As mentioned, this would be the intermediate time frame. Long story short here, almost very similar, extremely similar to S&P futures. This is NASDAQ futures, think or swim platform. On a NASDAQ futures on a 1 hour time frame, I'm mapping up my Globex high, my Globex low. Okay, we had a couple of decent little scalps yesterday in NASDAQ. I don't know if my phantoms took anybody take that trade yesterday from this demand level. I ended up hitting later in the day the 22,230 here. Worked out fairly decent. I'm not sure if y'all took that, if you were trading, continuing to trade yesterday, but that one worked out. We had a trade yesterday that hit TPTP, then we trailed our stop, got stopped out, and then later in the day, even yesterday being not a lot of volume and liquidity, we had a little level that worked out as well on NASDAQ futures and oil as well. So hopefully y'all did good on oil as well, because it made a new high. Anyways, moving on here. NASDAQ is already in its level right here. NASDAQ is already in its level right here. But again, I would be a little careful with this. NASDAQ is getting sold off just a little bit more here this morning, I noticed. Okay, but it's been very strong all week and to close this month and this quarter. Okay, so there is a decent little level right here. If I just kind of take this green line and kind of steal it and kind of bring it over here. All right, we're in a level of that demand right here, an IBI here. But again, this would be a bit more aggressive. So this is, let me bring that price over here to the hard right edge. We're in it right now. So 2,265. NASDAQ futures. All right. This might get clipped out, but stop loss on this. Let me drill down to the small time frames. Hold on. We're inside of the buy zone. All right, fairly decent here. All right, so stop loss on this, because you can get in right now. It's literally at the demand zone price right now. Remember, this is going to be a bit more aggressive. All right. I'll map out the Globex trap in a moment. But stop loss on this, let's just call it 248. 248, 20,248. All right, this would be the stop loss on this. So this is fairly executionable right now. All right, inside of this level here. Halfway decent. All right. And target 101 is going to be at least up here. This is what's called VWAP up here. So I at least want to be targeting right here. Target number 1 at a minimum. Right here. Okay. 2000, I'll front run the, what's called front run 2,298. Okay. And then if we potentially break higher, there's another level right in here. This is going to be a day trade. Okay, so you want to manage this a little bit more aggressively or quicker. All right, so there's going to be those targets there. Okay, now would you be careful? Remember, this is going to be that that yeah, you could wait for a positive COG. We got some members in here. Okay, this is going to be a bit more aggressive. Okay, so as one of our members here at Phantoms already, he's waiting for a positive COG. Okay, and that's something that we could talk about when I have a little bit more time. Okay, now if you wanted to wait, okay, for the actual Globex trap, then we'd have to have this break the Globex low here. Okay, and that's the thing here. There's not a lot of levels until we get all the way down here. So these are the levels that, you know, maybe you can see the pricing, okay, right here. If you wanted to see if we can get a liquidity sweep, very similar to the S&P futures, there's going to be Tuesday's low right here. So you might be able to get what's called a buy setup trap here at 2,100. 20,000. NASDAQ is such a high price. 20,100. All right, so actually, let me just save a click or two here. Take this line, duplicate it, bring it up here. Okay, so 20,100, even number. All right, that would be breaking the Globex low and Tuesday's low. Okay, and this would be qualified for a liquidity sweep. All right, so this one would be a bit more better, deeper pullback. Okay. Yeah, 20,100. Okay. And this is good. This one's a lot better. Okay. And then of course, if that breaks, we have this one, which is I don't really need to spend a lot of time here. That's a beautiful level right there. It's pretty decent right there. Big rally out, institutional order flow right there. Okay. Let me do gold and oil. Let me just see. Is gold still range bound? Gold futures. Gold's trying to break out a little bit here. Monthly, weekly, daily up. I know these lines are insane here, but that's all our prior work. So I like to keep that here and there just for teaching purposes as well. All right, but we were crushing gold on this bull run up. It's been quiet now, right? Monthly, weekly, still up. Daily's been ranging, so ranging. Gold's trying to pump a little bit here. We did have a doji close yesterday. It's trying to pump a little bit here. It's hard to trust just because it's been range bound for so long. So I'd be careful with this. I'm not going to waste too much time here just because it's not as qualified. But be careful with this level here. So I might just want to pass on this, especially when I'm on free live via YouTube. I saw a question about liquidity sweep. You know, I only have about another 35, 40 minutes with y'all here today. So, you know, inside of the classes, you know, and of course, you know, Phantoms is a live trade room and an educational company, right? So, you know, we trade live with y'all. And so I learned you'll learn more about that inside of the class. It's okay. It's beyond the scope right now. Believe me, when I'm in class with the team, and they ask a question, you know, we have bonus sessions and we dissect the market together on any question. Right now, it's beyond the scope right now. All right. So if you are fairly new and you're not a Phantom member potentially yet, and maybe you're interested, okay. If not, that's cool as well. June 20th tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Name, email. All right, and you'll get to see a little bit more about what that is, okay? And yeah, you know, we have live trade rooms, of course, and we discuss that in much detail, okay? I've actually been trained in New York City as a market maker style of trader, okay? So I'm always getting the team thinking in terms of how to think like a bank and a market maker, okay? My mentor has been training for 37 years, is literally an options market maker. So I bring that knowledge to the people on our team here as well, okay? That being said, let me go to oil. Oil is breaking out. Okay, we had a nice trade yesterday in oil. The rally continues. Some of my Phantoms, y'all doing good in oil? Y'all doing good in oil? Y'all doing good in oil? Oil's breaking out. All right, we had a good trade yesterday in oil. So hopefully y'all doing good on this. Globex high, Globex low. Ireland, nice. We got some Ireland. I have some Irish in me. All right, good job, Santo. All right, Globex trap would be down here. We got levels down here. I just realized we have 15 minutes before the market opens, so I want to go do a couple of things as well. All right, so this is the futures prep. This is a beautiful Globex trap right here. All right, you might want to write this down. 79.75. 79.75. I'm not sure if that's going to hit today, but this would be a beautiful, qualified institutional level of demand. Again, more on that this evening. If you're in Ireland at 12 p.m., I would still say if you could do it, make it. I don't know. I'm sure if you could stay up that late, but I would suggest to maybe register. Maybe you can get in there for the first hour, just to see what it's like. All right, if you could do that. All right, I'm not trying to make you sleep deprived, but sometimes trading, learning how to get this asset, you have to make a couple of sacrifices in life, as I did to get this skill set many years ago, 15 years ago when I started trading. So cool. So this is good. We're in breakout mode right now on oil. This would be another Globex trap right here as well. This one is going to be not as prime or qualified as the lower one at 79.75, but this is worth a tag here, and that price comes in at 80. What is this? 80. Let's just call it 80.25 right here. Okay, 80.25. All right, that would be decent. Now remember, we're on equal to a new highs. So some of my phantoms in the room here right now, we're making equal to a new highs. We don't chase this. We don't chase markets. Okay, we don't chase price action. Okay, so this is what's called an equal to or a new high. So there's something called the liquidity map, and we have this, right? And so right now, some of my phantoms members, if you're long this right now, you should be doing what? TPing, scaling out a little bit, locking in some gains as you bought low. Now we sell high. We want to buy low, sell high. Okay, so we don't want to chase right now. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually, yeah, Santo, right? You're actually hoping it doesn't, right? Right, exactly, right? Because that means, because you're already long, so you want, of course, you want that to continue to go and scale out on these new highs here, okay? Now, what we can do is also, this level is not the greatest, a lot of weird time spent here, okay? But we can also, we have what's called the VWAP, volume weighted average price. Again, that's probably beyond the scope of what I can cover with y'all right now on a free live stream here, okay? But always account for what's called a VWAP tag. So if you are not in this, for example, you can wait for a pullback on the smaller time frames, okay? I'd be looking at this area, give or take, call it the 80.85 thereabouts, okay? Where you could potentially engage a pullback to go long or bullish. Okay, this would also have what's called confluence. Okay, this would also have confluence with what's called VWAP. All right, now some of my phantoms here already, you can also have this come down and wait for what's called a positive COG at or around this area, and that would qualify as well. Okay, so a guy like Santos already long. Okay, so he's a benefit of this rally right here. He'll be taking some profit, I'm sure. Okay, and then in the event that it comes down, this would be a bit more of aggressive entry. Okay, for a day trade with getting long down here, 80, 85 with that VWAP tag as well. Okay, or take a positive COG. Okay, so good job, guys. Good job. I actually got stopped out of a swing trade in oil. I'm back in. Okay, so at Phantoms we don't hide losers, right? So we're real live professional traders. Okay, and you need to learn how to lose professionally in this business. Small loser. Get out when wrong. Okay, and ride winners when you're right. Cut losers when you're wrong. Ride winners when you're right. Okay. All right, and that's something that we talk about a lot and stress as a professional trader at Phantoms. Okay, now I'm going to move on real quick from futures. Okay, so we did NASDAQ, S&P, oil, and gold. Gold I'm staying away from just for right now for a day trade because it's not the greatest condition. So now I'm going to go over to the stock and indexes. Okay, so this is SPY on a daily time frame. We're having a slight gap up. Okay, we're having a slight gap up. Markets closed on Tuesday before the holiday yesterday, Wednesday. Hopefully you'll enjoy your holiday. We closed on highs, and then this morning we're gapping up. Okay, this morning we're gapping up. Okay, now before I talk about gaps within right, and for the record here for you YouTube streamers that are coming in, there's a lot of stocks, right? But I'm going to be going over the FANG stocks: Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia, AMD, Netflix, etc. Because these are going to be the FANG stocks that I know has options liquidity. Okay, I know they have great option liquidity. All right, especially if I'm only going to be able to trade with y'all for the first, 20, maybe the first 15 to 25 minutes, 30 minutes on the market open. I want to make sure that we're getting some good products regarding options to trade in the form of liquidity. Okay, now that's not what I wanted to mention here. What I did want to mention here is we're gonna be having a gap up here today. Okay, so we're very far away from what's called the mean. Okay, S&P is already up about what 15-16%. Okay, for the year. On average for the year, S&P's only return about 9 to 10%. Okay, so yet last year's close is down here, and we're already up a good 16. With pre-market quote here today, we're up 16%. Okay, at the end of Q2. All right, so we talked a little bit about this even on Tuesday, where at the end of the quarter, just be careful because people are locking in their gains, and then you can have a potential bigger pullback in the market, just like we did in Q1. Okay, this is business. Trading is a business. Okay, it's not a game. It's not a hobby. Okay, it's a business. You need to think like a big bank and institution, or operate as a big bank and institution. Okay, so end of Q2 is coming up, and so people are rotating ETFs. Okay, banks rotating ETFs, and people locking in Q2 high profits. Okay, and then that is going to be a potential catalyst, give or take, all things being equal, minus the Fed and things like that, for a potential pullback. Okay, that we can get to kick off Q2 to get prices lower, to buy low, to then what? Accumulate, and then we can sell higher in a macro bull market. Okay, but that's a discussion for another day. One of the things that I wanted to mention here is the VIX. Okay, the VIX. I noticed that this morning the VIX is up slightly. Now it's not up a lot. It's only up 0.64%. Now the VIX is the volatility index. Okay. In short, if the VIX is low, that means that the market is up or bullish. If the VIX is high or going up, that means that the market might be just coming down a bit. Okay, so it's an inverse correlation. Okay, in short, it's a fear/greed gauge. Okay, so when VIX is low, markets are complacent, nobody's fearing anything, markets at all-time highs. Great, VIX is low, options prices are cheap on the SPX options for 30 days out. The VIX is essentially the SPX options implied volatility for 30 days out. That's too advanced for right now. Okay, go to class on that. Okay, go to class on that. The key thing for right now is, although we are extremely low on this VIX, okay, although we are extremely low on this VIX, and tomorrow with the members and next week especially, I'm going to talk about just throwing on some put insurance for a 2 to 5 to potentially 7% correction in the event that we get that, okay, in Q3, okay. I'll talk a little bit about that, and this is going to be the time to do it because volatility is extremely low, okay, over here. If I just give you the kind of range, okay, the range of this. All right, so we're extremely low right now. Markets are at all-time highs. No, equity markets are like, hey, man, everything's cool, right? But just be careful with that because you can have what's called a volatility spike. Okay, you can have a volatility spike. Okay, so you always have to be, always be healthy skepticism, healthy cautious, right? Risk management, always. The point that I'm trying to make, long story short, here is this. Although we can look at that on the higher time frames, we can also look at this on the shorter time frames as well. Okay, so we also want to map out the overnight low. This might be a little bit of a glitch blip here, but I'll still use that as the low, and I want to map out the overnight high. Okay, now if the VIX continues to rally up a bit more, okay, then that could be the market might just be pulling back a bit. Now, not a 2 or 5% correction here today, okay, but it could just have a could we have a down day on the S&P or Nasdaq? Of course we can, right? So you always have to be aware of what to look for. If and when that happens. VIX being one of the main things that you would want to look at to give you that clue, okay? All right, that clue, because the market will tell you what it wants to do, right? The problem is people don't listen to what the market's telling them to do, okay? And they're trading their thoughts and their feelings, okay? So you don't want to do that, okay? You want to be objective all the time and trade what's called price action, the tape, okay? I'm a price action tape ripper, okay? New York style, all right? So this morning, VIX is slightly up while the S&Ps are gapping up. Okay, while the S&Ps are gapping up, okay, as it stands right now. So we have a slight gap up. This is a bit of what's called a novice gap. Okay, so we have a move up, move up, move up, move up, move up, close on green, then we have a gap up. Okay, so there's gaps that we have to qualify as well. All right, so just this morning, all right, just because this market's up does not mean that I'm just going to go long call and have this go to the moon. No, okay, we can have pullbacks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things I'm going to be doing off the open is going to be pulling what's called VWAP. Okay, volume weighted average price. So we just went over the VIX, also dollar. Dollar is going to be a major point as well. So if the VIX is up, okay, and dollar is up, typically it's going to be a bit more bearish for the market, even though we have a gap up in SPYs. These are the kind of things that I was mentioning. You want to have and understand all market dynamics, all market stocks, futures, forex, options. They're all interconnected. Okay, I'm going to skip over bonds just because I don't have enough time right now to talk about bonds. as much as what I usually would do, but bonds are down, which means yields are up. Yields are up. That means market fairly down. Okay, so we got bonds, dollar, and VIX telling me that I'm going to be a little bit patient on this open here this morning, okay, and not just get out the bulls, okay, and go long, okay. We might want to be a little bit patient here, and because the internals, okay, and the other markets are telling me that we want to be, this market might want to come down just a little bit here, at least in the early part morning. Apple, it calmed down, was great. We've been inside day so far for basically since late last week. Okay, slight gap down in Apple. Again, this is still going to be one that I'm going to be very cautious on shorting. Apple just made all-time highs. Okay, so just be very careful with that. I don't like to short markets at or around all-time highs. That's a losing sucker's play. Amazon, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Tuesday was a low volume day with the holiday being on Wednesday. Slight gap up. Amazon can kind of go anywhere right now. The location of where we are. I'm on a daily time frame now. Just kind of going over the gaps. We're in the middle of a range. So location is a major part of understanding the supply-demand equation of institutional order flow. And right now we're in the middle of this. So this is going to be very tricky here on Amazon. So if it's not lined up the proper way, don't trade it. Okay, I'm looking for setups that are going to be nice, clear, cut, which with well-defined high probability edge. And if you don't have that, don't do anything. Okay, I'm not looking to throw risk away. Okay, I'm looking to put appropriate risk at the appropriate times in the appropriate locations on a rule-based edge trading setup, high qualified setup. Okay, Amazon's really not giving that to us right now. Google, I could say almost the same thing. Okay, Google, now let's put some respect on Google, all-time highs. Okay, Google's been in an uptrend. Okay, we talk about trend, we talk about location, things like that. Google has been in a beautiful uptrend, of course, made all-time highs maybe last week, give or take. However, for today and this week, it's been tough to trade Google. Okay, it's been tough to trade Google. And in fact, I've been actually taking small losses. I'm looking at my my end of, closing up my books for end of June and end of quarter for my accounts. And, Google this week and last week, a lot of the Google has been small losses. Okay. And that's what I realized over the past 2 weeks. So I'm not really looking to get into a setup in Google that is not giving us a well qualified edge. Okay. So stay away from it. Right. Small loss here, small loss there. That's a part of trading. You have to know how to take those. Okay. But I'm going to look for something that is going to be a lot more simpler. Okay. And well qualified and ride those winners. Tesla, I'm just going to save some time here. I love trading Tesla, okay? But it's been trolling right now. It's been trolling in terms of it's just fakey here, fakey here, fakey here, and it's just been a mess. So just be careful with Tesla, okay? Meta, on the other hand, might be decent. In fact, this level I gave for free on live stream. I had mentioned this level right in here with a monthly view up. I don't know if anybody took that. I had mentioned this level, 495-ish, give or take. That worked out. Now, Meta, on the other hand, is going to be fairly a better setup versus something like Amazon, Google, and Tesla. Here's why. We pulled back and compressed in what's called a monthly VWAP, okay, of June's monthly VWAP with a demand zone. So we have high confluence here, and Meta actually has a nice little gap up. Okay, so while other things are kind of slightly gapping down like Google and Amazon and Apple, Meta has a slight gap up. Now, Meta's been a little weird too as of late. All right, we've been making it happen here with Meta inside of the live trade rooms, but this is going to be on the bullish list. So therefore, in the event that this gives us the price action that we're looking for in terms of the setup, all right, that you'll learn more about inside of the classes and all that kind of good stuff, right? This is going to be more of a better setup than the others. Okay. All right. So Meta bullish right off the open. Microsoft holding its pre-market quote here. No gap. Last week's high, last week's low. That's one of the things that you want to be mapping out. Okay, mapping out here. Last week's high, last week's low. So there's a proximate system here. Okay, for you streamers in here. All right. No gap, which is okay, which is good. No gap. But right now, Meta and Microsoft are going to be on the bullish camp of this off the open. Okay, Nvidia, monster. Hopefully, y'all not shorting Nvidia. All right, just when you think it's over, it continues to go. However, I want to be extremely careful. Now, NVIDIA is just taking over Apple, Microsoft as number one, and in the XLK. In the XLK. No, Montu, that is not a mortgage. Good to see you, Montu. That is not a mortgage gap on Meta. Good eye though. It would have been a mortgage gap if we had an outside gap of prior day's high up here. Good job, brother. Good job, Montu. Good question. Good question. Okay, so we close here, and this would even be even better if it closed more red bar, committed more shorts. Okay, macro picture up, uptrend, and then we gapped above prior day's high, taking out this red bar. So we don't have that. Okay, mortgage is a very powerful gap, but it has a specific criterion which makes it extremely powerful. So it doesn't check off the list. Good question though. Good question though. Be careful with NVIDIA. Okay, I've been talking to the team a lot. It's a 2 candle rule, yes sir, yes sir. So it's a bit of a novice gap up here. Okay, so just be careful with this. All right, this is a decent little. I've been mainly day trading this. Okay, I do own a little bit of some shares in NVIDIA. It's split, but I sold some puts here at 100. I even think I mentioned that even on stream as well. All right, the team and I went through this, and I just pulled the trigger on this. So we sold some puts. I'm actually going to be getting out of these today, tomorrow, because they're up very well, decently. But I'm looking to, yes, long-term invest in NVIDIA, but I'm not looking to lock in new highs. So I'm going to see if we can get a deeper correction at some point in Q3 to potentially lock in long-term investing for NVIDIA. Okay, market's about to open. They just opened right now. AMD, be careful with this. Be careful with this one. And then Netflix is another one that I would like to look at as well. And this is going to be on the bullish list. It's coming out of a squeeze. And the markets are open right now. So let me just go, wow, Netflix right out the gate. Looks good. Let me do my due diligence, of course. Let me just check VIX really quickly. Okay, remember, be patient. Always be patient. VIX and internals. Trade cap up. Advanced declines, ADD, negative 675. Not really super extreme, but slightly down. Volume on the New York Stock Exchange, Vol D up versus down, slightly down, not extreme though. Negative or plus minus 3 is extreme. And let's go to some of these tickers here. All right, so right off the bat, Google was not great for the pre-market prep. But wide range bar off open, interesting. Meta was on the list there. So NVIDIA gap up, but so far we have a fade down, so be careful on that. Google actually coming out to play ball a little bit. I know it's not the greatest, but right out the gate, Google has a wide range bar of open off the rising 20 on daily. Meta was a bit of the better one here. So I think Meta is going to be what I want to play here. 2 minutes. I want to be patient. Amazon, same thing, but I want to be careful with Amazon. Netflix don't like that wick right there, so that's developing. AMD on the higher time frames is not great. This would have been a lot better if it was closer to the weekly demand zone down in here, but it's not. But AMD's slightly on my list here. All right, so I'm gonna pull trigger on Meta here, long call Meta. So META, Meta. And so this is options, think or swim here. 21 June expiration, June 21st expiration. Let me see. We have the hammer here, not too bad. Let me see. Monthly daily looks good. And okay, so Meta here, be long call. I'll go a little bit more lower risk with y'all in here on live stream here. I'll pick up the 507 strike, 507 half strike call. They're going for about $2.70 here if I bring that up. So that'll be the first entry that I'm going to be taking here on this. Google is interesting because it's not the greatest in terms of higher time frame setup, but off the open, it's pretty decent. All right, so I'm gonna check that. All right, so I'm gonna pull the trigger here on Meta long call. All right, so I just got filled here, Thinkorswim at 230. That's the price that I got in. Spread a little wide on this. All right, so I just got filled here. All right, Google off open, wide range bar set up off the 20. The challenge is it going to be another inside day? That's the challenge on the higher time frames. So that's why it's a little bit patient on that. All right, Lily's great. It's a very expensive stock. New highs. Here's check Q's, JP Morgan. So we got Tesla. Tesla would be the one that we would have the bearish play on this. So Tesla's actually breaking down a little bit here. So Tesla would be the bearish exposure here for this morning. Microsoft as well, but Microsoft's going to be a tough short. Just be careful with this. Make sure it's not coming into intermediate demand, which it is. So just be cautious with Microsoft here because it's actually coming into a level of demand. You almost actually want to do front side entry on this, but that's something that is a bit more advanced. All right, Tesla long put. Fairly decent below yesterday's low here. So I'll work on some Tesla long puts here. Meta's pulling back. Meta might already be a cut, so we want to be careful with that. All right, so Tesla long put. 21st expiration here. If you pick up the 182, these are the at the monies. They're going for 250. If you wanted to keep your risk a little bit more smaller, you can pick up the 180 strike put. Those are going for about 140. I'll pick up the 182 half for $2.40 here, $2.50. All right, Meta. So far, no fall through on Meta. So we pick up these 182 halves strike put on Tesla. So long put is going to be bearish. All right, so I just picked these up. Go to 239 fill on these for the 182 half strike. All right, stop loss on Meta is going to be down here. All right, a couple ticks below that even number. So I'm going to give it a little time and space, okay? All right, so it's going to be stop loss here. Okay. Let's continue. AMD, I love AMD, man, but it's just been so trappy lately. Slight little pain gap, I do like it. AMD's a little harder one to trust just because it's been so range bound lately, but this is giving us a decent little intraday setup. The only thing I don't like about it is we're coming up in here in this little intermediate supply, but AMD might be a see, positive VWAP. AMD might be a decent little play here. Tesla's profitable a little bit there. Meta's trying to still work out. AMD, long call. I'd probably do half size on this just because it's been kind of tricky. The options here, if you pick up the 160 strike, which is what I would do, and I'm going to do here, as soon as we have this here. I don't like how we're coming in a little bit here on the intermediate supply on the 60-minute and the 30-minute time frame. All right, so I'll pick these up, but I'm gonna go like, half size, light size on this. All right, so AMD 160 strike call. This is gonna be strictly day trade, okay? 160 strike call. This isn't an A plus A1 setup, super high score, because the higher time frames don't really line up as great, and we are in intermediate supply. But I just got filled here at 174 on these calls. All right, and a little bit late to that, but it needed to prove anyways that on the smaller time frames that I needed to take it. All right, so somewhere here, long call, give or take. All right. Let's TP some Tesla. TP some Tesla. Okay, market just made a new low on this negative COG here. All right, so we're gonna take profit. TP means take profit. You can even take profit on AMD right there. That's a quick 25, 30 cents there. All right, so I'm going to take some profit on Tesla here. All right, bought them for 239. The options are going for selling for 292. So we could just scale out a bit here on Tesla. There's something called ABC, always be closing, which we train people at Phantoms here, members at Phantoms. All right, so TP some Tesla here, get the morning started. All right. All right, it's got filled at 286. So TP'd some Tessie. So give or take, this was a TP, give or take, somewhere here. All right, right off the open. All right, AMD was already printing there. I know I was in a little bit late too on that. So if you saw AMD, those options were already going for about $1.96. Okay, so I don't know if anybody took those profits there. All right, and then Meta so far, let's see, Meta's still trying to work out there, but Meta slightly just down a little bit there, but it's still trying inside of its opening day's range here. All right, now let's continue here. NVIDIA just had positive COG. Wow. I mean, NVIDIA is telling us that we got to go long call here, but I'll be careful. Now, we're already long AMD as well, so I'll keep risk a bit more smaller here on NVIDIA, but just know that we are extremely high on NVIDIA. There's no supply to the left. That's the thing here. But a $1.41 strike for 141 for a $1.75 on Meta is not bad at all, right? So we have positive COG here. We can maybe pick up some NVIDIA here, but I'd manage this a bit more aggressively. But it qualifies, so it qualifies. So the 141 strike. Now be careful with this one. Asterisk on this one. Just be careful because it's extremely high. It's a long trading day. All right, in the room I trade with the folks and the members, all the way through. All right, I just got filled here at 173. All right. Positive COG. All right, but just be careful with this. Okay, long call, which is bullish, but I'm going to put an asterisk there. Just manage that a bit aggressive there, okay? All right, those are already a little bit more profitable there. I think AMD just poked a new high, I think. All right, I'm going to TP some AMD. TP, take profit. All right, I'm going to TP because I missed my first shot to TP some, take profit. So I'm going to take some more profit here on AMD from 174 to 195, 198 they're going for right now. Buy low, sell high on the option here. Meta's still trying to work out, but hasn't been proven right or hasn't been proven wrong yet. So we'll still manage that. All right, we're going to keep it moving. All right, I just sold some out at 208 they gave me on the AMD long call. All right, the green is where I bought. The red one there, what I locked in, is sell, and this is the current price if you want to sell it. They're going for about 210 right now from 174 on the call premium, and we just TP'd some on AMD. All right, you can get some more here. It's making a new high. All right, let me, should have TP'd some NVIDIA too. Let me lock in this 212 just while I'm on AMD. Oh, okay, let me go to NVIDIA. 67, okay, yeah, so NVIDIA, I don't know if anybody scalped out of that quickly. Is Google still setting up here? Yep, did not trust Google. For the reasons discussed in the morning prep. Oops. Let's see. Meta's still being a headache here, but it's very early, so it's still inside of what's called its opening day's range. Netflix was a trap. It got too high up into monthly supply. Color orange here is, anytime you see orange, be very careful because that is the monthly time frame. All right, and the members know that when they're trading live with me in the room. So I didn't want to get trapped up there on Netflix. Apple's a little weird here today. So the first 15 minutes of the day, which we're about to hit right now, is what's called the opening day's range. So Meta, for example, this is one of the trades that I'm in, is still inside of its opening day's range. All right, so it's hard to make decisions right inside of the opening day's range here. So I pull a daily VWAP here. All right, daily VWAP. So it's just kind of going sideways there. Got a stop loss in here. So we'll see. We'll give some space and time, but we'll see. Let me see. Some SPYs. Probably missing a little bit of a SPY pump here. SPY just positive CRG'd. Woo. Now in the room, right? I don't want to give away all the cookies here. I'm just being honest with y'all. I protect my I protect the members. Okay. Usually we map out this call and put matrix here, and we'd be executing right off there. So getting long SPYs would have been a cakewalk here. That's why the group is telling me to go to SPYs here. So we did have a nice little positive CRG here. I'm a little bit late to this. AMD just popped a new high, so let me TP some of AMD here. All right, from 175 to 255. Let me lock in this premium here on AMD ticker. All right, so I'm gonna sell some off here. I just sold some off at 252. All right, another TP there. NVIDIA. I knew NVIDIA was probably going to get a little stuck up there. Meta still doing its thing there. Visa was decent. Google didn't trust. SPX. Qs. JP Morgan might be on the radar too. Monthly, weekly, daily looks good. This thing might pop a bit here. It's basing. So JP Morgan, I'll put on the radar, but it has to do something here and break out. It has to have a positive COG here with some follow through. SPX, I love SPX. That's like my favorite thing on the planet regarding trading. Probably missing a little bit of an SPX trade here, but I'm looking at the time and I just got my warning. I'm already at the time limit, so I want to be a little careful here with opening up a new trade, especially on something like SPX. If I'm not going to be here to help y'all manage, I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence or anything like that, but I want to make sure that everybody's doing good. So I might have to, GLD looked pretty decent. GLD is trying to break out here. It was on the radar. We did have a clearing gap, but it did clear. GLD might be decent. Now this one might be a little more safer than something like SPX. So GLD actually did have a nice positive CRG here, back above VWAP. This one's a bit more cheaper. AMD printing 280s. I gotta get those. So SPX, I want to be a little careful with that, just because SPX is a monster. GLD a bit more safer for folks. So this is fairly cheap. I mean, if you wanted to get more delta, you can maybe pick up the 215 strike. Those are going for about 225 per contract. If you wanted to get lower delta, which is lower delta, these are going for about 64 here, 64 cents if you wanted to look at some long calls on GLD. All right, now it's a little bit too high right now, so we might want to have it come down just a little bit on the small time frames and have a positive COG. All right, AMD's working out very well here, so what I'm going to do, and my phantoms know this already. All right, I'll do a small little recap, but then I gotta go here. New high, so we have to take some profit, right? Quadrant number 2. Okay, quadrant number 2 here. All right, so TP some AMD. Tesla stuck. All right, Bing just TP'd some AMD. All right, and I got a 3, looks like I gave me a 312 fill on the premium. All right, cool. They're going for 320 right now. Meta is at break even, give or take, down, 10, 15 cents. Still kind of, still trying to think about what it wants to do here. It's above our entry price, but theta is going to be an issue. So Meta needs to do something there. We'll see if this basing in the video above VWAP can pop. We'll see. JP Morgan trying here. I think we traded JP Morgan on Tuesday together. JP Morgan is giving us a nice little, decent little setup. Monthly, weekly, daily looks good. Coming down to weekly demand, beautiful. Rising 20. We're on the 200 on the 20 on the daily, monthly, weekly, daily. Positive COG, JP Morgan, not bad. JP Morgan. Long call. How y'all doing? Give me some love or hate if you hate it. I don't care. Y'all doing okay? Some likes. I don't know. Y'all still out there? Is anybody there? Let's see. 195 strike. Those are going for about 280. If you wanted to keep your risk a little bit more smaller, you can pick up the 197 half. Those are only going for about $1. All right. So you can kind of pick your poison, if you will. Pick your poison. I'll pick up the 276s here, but the only thing is I'm not going to be able to be here to manage this with y'all. Okay, now in the trade room, of course, we have some phantoms already in this room right now. They know that we go all day, baby. Or at least if you hang out with me. I can't speak for every other phantom, but I can only speak for myself, right? I'll pick some of these up here. JP Morgan long call. We'll see. Get some continuation on these. And got filled at 276 on those. The spread is a little annoying on JP Morgan, in all fairness, okay? So that's another thing that's kind of annoying with JP Morgan. The option spread is annoying. All right, but I just picked up some JP Morgan long call here. And I already popped a little bit right there. All right, so just knowing the timing, and I could be wrong on meta, things like that. Just knowing the timing, being patient, knowing what to wait for, what to look for. Okay. And I was waiting for this positive COG print right here, taking out this red bar above 20 period moving average, above VWAP and all that kind of good stuff, right? So JP Morgan's already, with the spread. See how the spread's annoying? The spread's annoying on this. NVIDIA having a tough time, as I mentioned. Okay. Meta. Meta, grindy, JP Morgan, might be able to TP a little bit of JP Morgan here. especially considering that spread is annoying. If you wanted to scalp a little bit here, just real quick, I mean, that's really not that much there. On JP Morgan. Tesla, we TP'd one on Tesla. Took profit number one on Tesla. But it's about back to break even, give or take. All right, so in took TP some, now it's back to break even. This is still okay. It's below VWAP. It's acting right so far. And AMD so far is the red winner, and we need some help with some NVIDIA here. Just had a VWAP test. All right, so I gotta go, folks. Right, time flies. Time flies. GLD. Anybody take GLD? All right, Meta's trying to still work out here. Nice. I like this print right here on Meta. So looking good. Don't get emotional, right? I talk a lot about don't trade your P&L. Don't stare at a trade that's not working out and you get emotional. Then you do something that you're not supposed to. Okay. All right. Trade the tape. Trade the setup. Okay. Plan the trade. Plan the trade. Trade the plan. Okay. No emotion. All right. Just execution. All right. All right, folks. I gotta go. So if you want to learn more about this, okay, we have some Phantom members already in here. All right. So they already know the deal. But if you wanted to kind of take a sneak peek even more deeper of what this is like, and Mr. Green or Mr. Black is going to host a workshop here this evening today, June 20th, okay, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so only 9 hours away. Put your name, your email, so you can get that registered link, okay? And yeah, you'll learn how markets really work from a professional traders, okay? Myself, Mr. Green, Mr. Black, we all have professional institutional training, okay? And that's what we bring to light here. All directions, up, down, and sideways. I'm the options guy, if you will. So options trading, you can make money even if the markets are not going up or down. Okay, you can what's called sell options premium. Okay, I love to do that in the SPX. Okay, how to grow from small accounts, anywhere from large accounts, big accounts, doesn't matter. Utilizing leverage. Okay, doing more with less. Forex, futures, options, all assets. Right. So it's not just about stocks. No. Okay, it's about multiple asset classes. Again, if you're a short-term trader, okay, scalping for some extra income, okay, or you're that or wealth management, you're here to want to learn how to, manage your long-term wealth. Everything on the spectrum, if you will. Thank you, Donovan, my man, Donovan. TP some AMD, and as you can see, we have some members in here, and we operate as a team these days, which is a beautiful thing, and he nailed it perfectly because we had what's called a new high segment, okay? New high segment, quadrant number 3. So we got some trained folks in here. Thank you, sir. So last but not least, I'll TP some AMD, as our member had mentioned. All right, these are going for $375, so 100% on this option, okay? But who knows, all right? Could be wrong on Meta and things like that, and that's okay. Small lose, out of all these trades, Meta is the one that's actually did Meta pump a little bit there? Let me see. So I just TP'd, high watermark that there. All right, did Meta pump a little bit? All right, still trying. Let me see. NVIDIA still trying as well. And Tesla at break even. All right, folks. Yeah, so I would be managing these trades and potentially taking new trades as well with the group. And cool. So I gotta go. I gotta run. Trade safe for the remaining of your day. I'll see some of you Phantoms later in class this evening. And God willing, I'll be with y'all tomorrow morning for the live trading room. As always, right? Business as usual, baby. All right. So I'm Mr. Green. I'm Mr. Blue. I'm Mr. Blue. I'm Mr. Blue. And I'm out. Trade safe. God bless. Take care.